of others. When we have expectations of others, we bind them to certain definitions of our fantasy. All of this is all okay as long as they're your puppet and they mind read you and they adapt to your fantasy. It's amazing when everything works out. But here's where the rub is. When they don't give a damn, when they're unable to meet your fantasy or imagination, when they don't want to meet your fantasy, or when they're clueless as to how, right? Unable or unwanting, unwilling or unwanting. Now, when they are unwilling or unwanting, you now are in a real tight spot. So you can choose to force it. You can choose to tantrum it. You can choose to yell at it. You can choose to whine and cry. Or you can choose to accept it as it is. Or you can choose to leave it. But the fact remains is that it's a disappointment to you. So before I talk about what you can do about it in terms of letting go, release, and entering the present moment, let's talk about understanding what has happened. Yes, you thought you could have an expectation. Yes, you thought you could have predictability. Yes, you thought you could have control. Good for you. You're a human being. We all want that. But when it doesn't come true, after the first shock and the befuddling and the bewilderment that it's not coming true, we need to deconstruct and realize that we co-created the entire setup because we wanted, we thought, we desired, we expected. And then once we accept our co-creation, then we go a little bit deeper and we go, why did I co-create? Oh, because I wanted predictability. I wanted certainty. I wanted definition. I wanted this illusion of control. So once you come there, then you're like, okay, now I don't have it. So then step 3 is, okay, what are my choices? So my choice is, number 1, accept it. It is what it is. It is like this. The person cannot or is unwilling, unwanting or unwilling. Or number 2, I can change my expectation. If I don't expect my friend to come on time, then I can either read a book while she's late for the millionth time, or I can give her the wrong time and trick her, or I can show up late myself. Or I can just not give a damn and just stare into the clouds till she comes. I can change. I can change. And the number 3, the third possibility is to leave. To go, you know what? I need to leave this dynamic. I need to leave this situation because this is untenable for me. I cannot thrive. And then you freaking leave. Now, you don't want to leave. So then you go back to, well, then they should change. Then you're like, they can't change. So do I need to accept? What do I need to do? And you go round and round and round. At some point, you're going to have to bust out of the conveyor belt and make a choice. And we don't want to make the choice because we had a fantasy. So you go back and you go back and you go back. But at some point, you're going to have to stop the torture of your mind and go freaking leave. Yes. The southern wildflower says freaking leave. Yes. So this is the cycle of unmet expectations and our desire to have met expectations. Now, all this leads to what is the ultimate panacea and the ultimate reason why we got into this problem in the first place. So the ultimate panacea is letting go, release, and present moment awareness. The reason we got into this in the first place is because we were holding on, we were not releasing, and we were living in the future. 3 arrows. Arrows, 3 errors. Arrows. I combined errors and arrows. That happens when you think too fast. 3 errors, 3 arrows. Piercing you in the heart. Because you were holding on, you were not releasing your ideas and expectations, and you were living in the freaking future. Okay? So, who is to be held accountable? Yourself. So now you go, okay, I guess I have to let go. I guess I have to release my expectations and come back to the present moment. And then you, in the present moment, you do a recce of your present moment environment, and you go, okay, I have my nose, I have my tongue, I have my eyes, I have my breasts, I have my body, I have my legs, I have my fingers. Oh, I haven't lost everything. I just lost my fantasy. I just lost who I thought I would be, and who I thought they would be, and who I thought we would be, marching together toward the sunset. So when you can come to this process, you finally realize that all the rest was an illusion anyway, because anything involving anyone else is always an illusion. Anything involving anyone else is always going to be at some level an illusion. You know why? Because you think you know the other person. Sweetheart, you never know the other person. And you don't even know yourself. So don't be upset with the other person for showing you their other colors, because they themselves don't know their colors to show in the first place. I'm known for getting upset with people for not being authentic. I'm like, you weren't authentic till now? I'm always getting upset. I'm like, why the frick you didn't know this before? Why weren't you in your alignment before? You know, because I work so hard to be aligned. So when I see people who then surprise me and they suddenly go, you know what? I've never liked living in New York City. And they've been living in New York City all their life. And I go, really? You've never said this? They're like, yeah, I'm just coming to the awareness. So I get annoyed and I go, you freaking didn't know this? Like by 50, you need to kind of know yourself. So that's when I become judgmental. But of course, then I step into my surrender. So don't be surprised, I'm telling myself, when people don't know who it is they are. Most people don't know who it is they are. And therefore, they won't show you who it is they are. And therefore, you can't ever say that you know someone else. So just give up the illusion that you know anyone else, okay? Give it up. You don't know anyone else. When next time you say, I know someone, even your child or your partner, I'm sorry to say, you know the sides that they choose to show you, okay? That's the best you can say with integrity. You know the sides that they have chosen to show you till today. Tomorrow, we don't know what's coming. This is just human nature, guys. If you want to live in less suffering, stop acting like you know anyone. Because the minute you sit in that comfort of, I know, you know that you don't know. That's the best truth, is you know that you don't know. And if you say you know, you only knew till this moment. You don't know the next moment. You don't know what's going to happen to this person in the next moment. So understanding these truths allow you to release, to let go, and to enter the present moment. And the only side that you can ever count on is the side that you choose to believe in. So don't blame the person when they show you another side, or the side that you believed in was not the real side to believe in, because you chose to believe. So own that you chose to believe. This is really difficult because you expect that what you're believing is the truth. But it's the truth on many good days. But sometimes it's not the truth. And then that person will say, well, that is not what I meant. That is not what I think now. And you're like, but you made me believe. So don't hold on to that. Know that at each moment you are choosing to believe in the sides of people that they are choosing to show you. And it's a game. It's an illusion. So when you understand, then when you are quote unquote left bamboozled, understand that you were an idiot to think that they knew who they were. So, the brutal truth brings us back to you and the present moment. At the end of the day, you have you and you have the present moment. And as always as you can believe that, you will be okay. You have you and you have the present moment. And you have all of nature for free. Get a dog, get a plant, get a fish. Try not to cage too many animals, but if you need animal love, that's the love that is given for free. If you need nature's love, it's given for free. So there's always you and the present moment. So somebody asks, is romantic love itself an illusion? I think it is. It's so nice, but it's an illusion because it's based on this idea that somebody else will meet your needs, on this idea that somebody else will complete you, this idea that someone will always be there for you. These are ideas. So the minute you have ideas about another person, you're going to enter a trap and you're going to enter quicksand. You do not want to ever put your eggs in anyone. Sorry to talk like that. You know? Eggs in your lap. Okay? Maybe ketchup in somebody else's lap. Maybe salt. No, salt is too important an ingredient. Salt in your lap. Maybe horseradish and some green peppers in other people's lap. The other person should be only the sprinkle. Sorry to talk like that. I mean, I'm really like telling you the way it is. Romantic love should be you, with you, with you, with you. Then a little bit of a sprinkle here through somebody else and a little bit there. Condiments. The others are condiments. And not even the key condiments. Don't give them the power to put the key condiments in your cake. The sugar, the dough, all the cream and the chocolate is all coming from you. Maybe a few like colorful sprinkles they can put. Don't give anyone the power to own your cake. Okay? Not your children, not your mother, not your father, not your lover. Never. Please. You know, now this sounds like a very jaded view of life. You know? I don't know. Maybe I'm jaded. You know, I'm almost 50, jaded woman. But I don't think I'm jaded. I think I'm just aware that people are really freaking limited. Okay? Including you and me. We're limited. We're immature. We're selfish. We're self-absorbed. We are mentally not so smart. We are forgetful. We are thoughtless. We're inattentive. We're distracted. We're, for the most part, really average, hot messes. Okay? Once in a while, you meet a really spectacular person who's not mentally ill. Okay? Like sometimes I don't see my non-mentally ill person for days. I'm kidding. I'm putting myself down. But it's true sometimes, you know? And I have to own that sometimes I'm not so spectacular. But most human beings, for the most part, not so spectacular. Okay? Very average and very mentally, right? Very needy, very depressed, very desperate, very falling apart. Oh my goodness, you know? So the reason that is because some people really are not that smart, majority. And for the people who are smart, they're not very evolved. Because the smart people are busy making money and buying cars and getting surgery, right? Because they're trying to play the game of form. So very rarely you have a beautiful mix of intelligence and wisdom. Okay, that's rare. But for the most part, limited. So when you understand that your co-fellow human beings are really limited, then you don't put your eggs in their basket. You really don't. You don't. You know, every time I buy a ticket or every time I buy something or I make an appointment, do you know I call back the next day to check if they made the appointment? I don't let it go at one time because I know that people are very limited. So, having said that, why would you think that your children are different? Because they're your sperm or egg? Why would you think your parents are different? And why would you think your lovers are different or your friends? People have severe limitations from severe childhood issues. And you cannot not only put your eggs in them, you cannot expect them to validate and complete you. Like, how lunatic of you. Don't do that. I see in my practice how ordinary we human beings are. And I remember a time in my life where I was begging for understanding from people, begging for people to validate me, begging for approval, till I began to realize how unconscious people are. And I'm begging from an unconscious person. So who is more unconscious? The person who is unconscious, or the person who is begging for validation from the unconscious person? Who is more dumb? So all I'm saying is that at the end of the day, you have to return to you and the present moment. You and the present moment. You and the present moment. And you always have you and the present moment. And as long as you always have you and the present moment and life and breath and nature, you are a winner. You are not being taken advantage of. You are not a victim. So get off your ass, get up, and go have you and the present moment and nature and a dog and a fish. And knit some socks and drink a glass of wine. I mean, there's so much. And eat a chocolate cake and eat some cookies and call up a girlfriend and read a good book and curl by the fire and walk in the wet grass and smell the rain. I mean, there's so much to do with you and the present moment. So I know you wanted things to work out, and I know you wanted love from that person. I know what you wanted. But what you want is not the thing that's going to complete you. It's bullshit that is going to complete you. Nothing is going to complete you except you and the present moment. And yes, Kate is off to buy a fish and a cake and keep my eggs. I love you, Kate. You said it. Let's do it, women and men. Oh, somebody wrote, you can't spend your life like a hermit with a fish on your own. That's not what I was saying. I was saying first, spend a lot of time like a hermit with a fish on your own. Because when you do, you realize, oh, you can spend your life like a hermit with a fish on your own. But you don't have to. And now you make a choice. But you're making a choice inside out versus outside in. First, be a hermit with a fish on your own. See how amazing that is. And then you can add people with choice, with discretion, with absolute discernment, if they're worthy of you coming into your space. You understand? Versus starting from the outside, then being a hermit feels scary. But when you're a hermit and you're enjoying with your fish and your cake, then you can go outside. You understand? Okay, guys, that was book club number 51. I have to talk in terms of quantity so you understand. 51. I said I was going to stop at 52, but I say a lot of things. I'm just going to go with the flow, how I feel in the moment. Bye, guys. See you when I see you. You have you in the present moment.